Welcome back to Reds Fusion LFC, your number one stop for all things Liverpool. Big news is breaking fast from Anfield. Next Sadio Mane has been spotted at the training ground, Mohamed Salah learns his Ballon d'Or fate, and Jurgen Klopp could be handing Liverpool a £50 million boost to seal a huge move for Alexander Isak. Plus, Virgil van Dijk gives us a major lift ahead of the Community Shield, but 4 players might miss out. Who's in? Who's out? Let's dive in. If you're a true Red, don't forget to like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for all the latest LFC updates, only on Reds Fusion LFC. Liverpool set to sign next Sadio Mane as dazzling player spotted at training ground. The Reds have quietly moved to agree another signing. Liverpool have quietly agreed to complete another transfer, and the player has already been spotted at their training ground. Arne Slot's side have already signed 6 players this summer, including the club record acquisition of attacking midfielder Florian Wirtz from Bayer Leverkusen. His Leverkusen teammate Jeremy Frimpong, Bournemouth left-back Milos Kerkez and Frankfurt striker Hugo Ekitike have also arrived at Anfield. But the Reds have been hard at work behind the scenes in bolstering their academy ranks, with highly rated 17-year-old striker Will Wright signing from League Two side Salford City. Liverpool had to fend off interest from Arsenal to sign Wright, who has already made his debut for the club's under-21 side. Anfield Watch have now reported that another academy signing has been completed, and he will surely excite fans. Liverpool have agreed to sign young winger Sidi Barama Ndiaye from Senegalese side Diambars FC. Ndiaye has already spent time at the Reds training ground, featuring in a friendly. Reds fans will have to wait a significant while for Ndiaye to be in contention for the first team, however. The 15-year-old only turns 18 in December 2027, meaning he can only officially join Liverpool in January 2028. However, Anfield Watch add that, under FIFA rules, he can spend up to 8 weeks per calendar with the Reds in order to acclimatize himself to English football and conditions. Who is Sidi Barama Ndiaye? Ndiaye currently plays for the youth team at Diambars FC, and gained attention at the U17 Africa Cup of Nations. He is also set to represent Senegal at the U17 World Cup later this year, with the African nation drawn against Croatia, Costa Rica and United Arab Emirates in Group A. Scouting website Total Scouting describes Ndiaye as the fastest U17 player I have ever seen, though expresses doubt over whether he will have the technical ability to star regularly in Europe's top 5 leagues in the future. He has already earned comparisons with former Liverpool star Sadio Mane at the same age, with the pair both from Senegal. Notably, Diambars FC have previously produced a number of players who have featured regularly in Europe's top 5 leagues. Everton midfielder Idrissa Gueye represented the club as a young player, as well as former Barcelona B centre-back Michael Faye. Ex-Crystal Palace man Pape Soar, Lorient winger Sheikh Dieng and former Stoke midfielder Badou Ndiaye have also been produced by the club. Mohamed Salah discovers Ballon d'Or fate as Liverpool up for 3 more awards. Liverpool features in a variety of categories for the 2025 Ballon d'Or after winning the Premier League title last season, with Mohamed Salah and Arne Slot recognized. Liverpool forward Mohamed Salah has been named on the Ballon d'Or shortlist alongside Virgil van Dijk, Alexis Mac Allister and Florian Wirtz, though the eventual award winner will not be confirmed until later in the calendar year. The Reds have been put forward in the Men's Club of the Year category after winning the Premier League title, though PSG, as Champions League winners, and Chelsea, as Club World Cup winners, are likelier victors. Arne Slot, meanwhile, has been put up for the Men's Manager of the Year award, and Alisson Becker is on the nomination list for the Yashin Trophy. Full list of 30 Ballon d'Or nominees. Jude Bellingham, Ousmane Dembele, Gianluigi Donnarumma, Desire Doué, Denzel Dumfries, Sergio Guirassy, Victor Gyökeres, Erling Haaland, Achraf Hakimi, Harry Kane, Kvicha Kvaratskhelia, Robert Lewandowski, Alexis Mac Allister, Lautaro Martinez, Kylian Mbappe, Scott McTominay, Nuno Mendes, João Neves, Michael Olise, Cole Palmer, Pedri, Rafinha, Declan Rice, Fabian Ruiz, Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk, Vinicius Jr., Vitinha, Florian Wirtz and Lamine Yamal. The full list of men's Club of the Year nominees is Liverpool, PSG, Chelsea, Barcelona and Botafogo. The Brazilian outfit is the current holder of the Copa Libertadores. The full list of men's Manager of the Year nominees, Arne Slot, Enzo Maresca, Hansi Flick, Luis Enrique and Antonio Conte. Each of them won either the League or Champions League in Europe. The full list of Yashin Trophy nominees, Alisson, Liverpool, Emiliano Martinez, Aston Villa, Yassine Bounou, Al Hilal, Thibaut Courtois, Real Madrid. Gianluigi Donnarumma, PSG, Jan Oblak, Atletico Madrid, David Raya, Arsenal, Matt Sells, Nottingham Forest, Jan Sommer, Inter Milan, and Lucas Chevalier, Lille. The Ballon d'Or is an award by France Football, who spoke to Sulla at the end of last season. "I didn't expect us to win so quickly," he said while discussing the impact of Slot, who took over from Jurgen Klopp. "Who could have predicted that the transition would be successful so quickly? No one, I think. In pre-season, Arne came to see me and asked me to be an example for the other players. I told him not to worry because I'm always at my best, not to set an example, but because that's who I am. He told me what he expected of me in the game, with a lot of responsibilities in running, which I liked. Arne and his staff are more open to discussion, to sharing feelings, and I think that was important in my performances. And, above all, it led us to success." Jurgen Klopp set to give Liverpool £50 million present to help Alexander Isak transfer happen. Liverpool are still in the hunt for Alexander Isak, with ex-boss Jurgen Klopp now set to play a major role in the transfer from his new position as Red Bull head of global soccer. Liverpool's pursuit of Alexander Isak could soon be given a boost by a figure still held in high regard at Anfield. The Reds have already seen their offer of over £110 million rejected by Newcastle, who are holding out for a £150 million price tag. If the deal goes through, it would be a new British transfer record and 25-year-old Isac would become the third most expensive footballer in history. Since their bid was rejected, Liverpool have bolstered their funds with the £15 million sale of Tyler Morton to Lyon, while Darwin Núñez is on the cusp of a £46 million switch to Al Hilal. However, it's the plans of former manager Jurgen Klopp that will now be sweet music to the ears of club chiefs. As per Bild, RB Leipzig are now eyeing up a move for Harvey Elliott. Klopp took up his new post as Red Bull head of global soccer in January, with the Bundesliga outfit being one of the clubs under his watch. The potential sale of the England under-21 star could well clear the path for the Premier League champions to meet Newcastle's hefty asking price. Elliott's stock is rising after he shone in England U21's victorious European Championships campaign this summer. It is reported by The Athletic that Liverpool could accept £40 million for Elliott on the condition that a buyback clause is included in the deal. If the buying club is not interested in including a buyback clause in the deal, it is reported that Liverpool's asking price for Elliott would rise to £50 million. Klopp is said to be championing the chase for the 22-year-old. He handed Elliott his Liverpool debut after snapping him up from Fulham in 2019, and the midfielder clocked up another 119 appearances under him before Klopp's departure at the close of the 2023-24 season. Before his departure, Klopp expressed regret that he didn't give Elliott sufficient game time that season, stating, "If I regret one thing a little bit, it's that Harvey didn't play often enough. Because in a very important, intense period, January, a lot of injuries, he played really good. He was probably our best player, right wing, right midfield, all these kinds of things. Everybody came back, and he had minutes here, minutes there, and he didn't start anymore." Liverpool reportedly want a transfer fee of around £40 million for Elliott. Leipzig are expected to finance the potential move with the sale of Xavi Simons, who has been in talks with Chelsea ahead of a proposed £61 million transfer. Liverpool ready for Isak move once Newcastle sign striker. Alexander Isak, Newcastle and Liverpool, the transfer domino waiting to fall. Isak's future hinges on Newcastle's next move. As Liverpool's season approaches, the Alexander Isak saga looms ever larger. On the latest episode of Media Matters from Anfield Index, journalist Lewis Steele provided a revealing update on the Swedish striker's potential move from Newcastle to Liverpool. Speaking to host Dave Davis, Steele explained, "I do think Alexander will end up becoming a Liverpool player by the end of the window, once Newcastle get a forward in, which is easier said than done because they've been trying to do that for 3 months now and failed. It's a classic transfer domino. Liverpool wait, Isac trains in isolation, and Newcastle scramble for a replacement. He wasn't invited to the Friends and Family Day for Newcastle players," noted Davis, while Steele added, "He clearly wants to move. His relationship with Newcastle has gone to a point where it's probably beyond repair now." The consensus? Liverpool's interest has not faded, despite reports to the contrary. "That was a load of rubbish as far as I'm concerned," said Steele of the claims that Liverpool had walked away. Why would they walk away after one bid was rejected? It didn't make any sense. Why Liverpool are all in on Isac? The focus on Isac seems deliberate and strategic. While other forwards like Rodrigo or Malik Fofana were floated earlier this summer, Steele was clear, "It's a little bit quiet at the moment, which points to me that all of their eggs are in the Isac basket." Liverpool have already cleared space in the squad and the wage bill with Darwin Núñez's move to Saudi Arabia. "They've got about just shy of £50 million for Núñez," said Steele, which he believes positions Liverpool well to make their move. "There's a lot of money coming in, they can definitely afford it. But the price tag remains a sticking point. Newcastle want £150 million. Liverpool don't want to pay that," Steele admitted. "Absolutely brilliant player, but he is mid-20s, maybe £150 million is a bit steep. Isac and a defender, the likely endgame. So what should Liverpool fans expect?" According to Steele, "I do think they will definitely sign a forward now, and I think they will definitely do their best to sign a defender as well." As for the club's handling of this complex window, Steele praised Liverpool's new sporting director, Richard Hughes. "This summer he's played an absolute blinder. If he can get Isac and a defender over the line, then I think it goes down as one of the very best windows I can remember." With just weeks remaining in the window, Liverpool's recruitment machine appears calm, calculated and confident. The wait for Isac continues, but all signs point to Anfield. What Liverpool's Darwin Núñez sale means for Alexander Isak pursuit. Newcastle ready to make move for Chelsea outcast if Sweden striker gets his wish. Alexander Isak remains Liverpool's #1 target as they look to sign a striker after cashing in on Darwin Núñez. However, the Reds' transfer policy of only paying what they believe is fair market value raises questions about his next move. Isac is training away from the first team at Newcastle United, a reflection of his desire to leave the club and pursue a move to Anfield. He was also not present at a player-family bonding barbecue on Wednesday morning, a footnote to a miserable summer for the Magpies. From the outside, it looks increasingly untenable, but senior sources at St James' Park continue to insist that he is not for sale. Last Friday, Liverpool indicated that they would not bid again given the strength of Newcastle's rejection of their initial £110 million offer for the Sweden international. But interest remains, and he is one of the few targets they have assessed that fit their recruitment criteria of being sufficient quality to start. However, the I-Paper can reveal that also on Liverpool's list of requirements for any target is that the player is realistically attainable, and a deal would represent fair market value. With Newcastle's valuation of Isac understood to be closer to £150 million, whether they can negotiate a deal that ticks those boxes depends on who you talk to. From St James' Park the message remains an uncompromising no, especially given the difficulties they have had in recruiting a striker. Those in Isac's camp, however, believe applying pressure to the situation may force them to buckle. But Newcastle are yet to make a breakthrough in replacing Callum Wilson, never mind the onerous task of finding Isac's successor, which was not on their radar at the start of the window. A club record move for RB Leipzig striker Benjamin Sesko is on the brink of collapse after he indicated a preference to move to Manchester United, the latest setback in a summer of transfer missteps. The I-Paper understands Newcastle are ready to move on to Chelsea's Nicholas Jackson, who they rate at around the £60 million mark, but there would need to be movement from the Blues who value him closer to £70 million. Jackson's inconsistency last season means he would not represent a popular pick for supporters, but he rates highly on a number of performance metrics, and there is a belief among many recruitment executives that he has a very high ceiling. Newcastle maintain an interest in Brentford's Yoane Wissa, who they rate at £30 million, some way short of the Bees' valuation. They have money to spend, and the departure of Martin Dubravka to Burnley and an imminent loan move for Odysseas Vlachodimos to Sevilla will provide more financial headroom, but are struggling to convince their targets to join them. Virgil van Dijk hands Liverpool boost, but 4 players could miss Community Shield. Virgil van Dijk and Alisson Becker were both spotted at the AXA training centre on Thursday after missing Liverpool's clashes with Athletic Bilbao. Liverpool have been handed a potential double boost ahead of the Community Shield against Crystal Palace after Virgil van Dijk and Alisson Becker were both pictured back at the AXA training centre on Thursday. The pair had sat out the Reds' pre-season friendlies against Athletic Bilbao on Monday night. Arne Slot confirmed the Liverpool captain had missed the 2 clashes through illness. Meanwhile, the Brazilian was absent after flying home early from the Reds' pre-season tour of the Far East to deal with a personal matter. It later emerged that he had returned to Brazil to support his wife, Natalia, who had undergone an operation. Speaking ahead of facing Bilbao, Slot revealed that he was hopeful that both Van Dijk and Alisson would be available for Sunday's trip to Wembley. Unfortunately, Virgil is sick today. We miss out on Alisson, he told LFC TV. Joe Gomez is not there, Connor Bradley is not there. But until now we have stayed fit as we wanted to be, and new signings came in, so they got adjusted to what we want. Looking forward first of all to today and then to the next weeks. Virgil is, normally not, at risk of missing the Community Shield. Joe Gomez and Connor Bradley, it's going to be tight. Alisson will be back in time as well. Slot has now seemingly been proven right after the pair were both spotted back at the AXA training centre ahead of Sunday's game. While Van Dijk and Alisson are now in contention to face Crystal Palace, Slot will offer a further injury update on Gomez and Bradley when he sits down for his pre-match press conference on Friday morning. Elsewhere, Trey Nyoni took part in a warm-down session on Tuesday as normal despite limping off against Bilbao, but Stefan Bajcetic remains sidelined after undergoing surgery on his hamstring earlier this summer. Liverpool will be without Darwin Núñez for the trip to Wembley after the Reds agreed a £46.3 million deal to sell the striker to Saudi Pro League side Al Hilal.